If we talk about slavery, we can talk about institutions that have existed for millennia.
Slavery wasn't invented when Europeans discovered Africa. Slavery is as old as civilization itself. Whether it was in ancient Egypt, whether it was in ancient Greece, whether it was in ancient Rome, or in Senegal, Ghana, Nigeria, and Angola. Slavery has been a constant in human history.
What we need to remember, I think, is market mechanisms, supply, demand, warlords who are willing to supply, and slave traders who supply the demand. This is something that happens all over the world, and it happened in very large numbers in West Central Africa when the Portuguese first came.
When Europe encounters Africa in terms of slavery, they encounter indigenous systems of captive labor or slavery. And so there's a way in which they are able to tap into existing networks and gain slaves. But there's a very important distinction to be made in terms of the forms of captive labor that Africans participated in with each other versus what would become the Atlantic slave trade.
What I find relatively unique about the period of the enslavement of Africans is that this notion of dehumanizing is not because that other is a threat to you, but because that other does not deserve the treatment you would require, and I put this to service to produce products. In other words, to increase wealth.
Slavery was a business. It was an investment. It was a part of the economy. To own a slave was to own a valuable commodity.
The industrialization of slavery is something that's new to the history of the world in that period.
They were economic chattel, right? Investments that were absolutely key to whatever enterprise you used them for.
The African slave trade was a conspiracy, unfortunately, between avaricious Europeans and avaricious African elites. Without the two working in harmony, the slave trade could not possibly have manifested itself in the way that it did. It's one of the most horrendous, painful moments in modern human history.